What's going on, everybody? Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. Hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that you are celebrating because today is Monday, September the 9th, 2024, and it is notably the very first of what we hope are many across the 2024 Dallas Cowboys season. It is a victory polo Monday. My heart was touched by all the kind comments that all of you left on our post-game show here amid all the changes that we've had. Thank you, everybody. I don't need to go on a long spiel again, but if you're curious, go watch the post-game show here on the channel. By the way, if you haven't, please subscribe to the Blog of the Boys YouTube channel. We are on our way to 30,000 subscribers. You can follow me all over social media, Twitter, Instagram, Threads at RJ Ochoa, TikTok, rj.ochoa. Make sure to check out bloggingtheboys.com. I've got like 14 articles coming out. It's been a very, very, very busy day because the Dallas Cowboys won, and because the Cowboys won, and today is Monday, that means it's Victory Polo Monday. If you're new to following me, wow, that's super offensive. What took you so long? The day after the Dallas Cowboys win a football game, something I've done since I was in high school. My dad and I, we wear polos, we celebrate, we call it Victory Polo Monday. If you don't have a polo, you can wear a t-shirt, you can wear a hat, you can paint your nails, you can wear a scarf, you can put a bandana or a collar on your dog. I don't care. As long as you have a Dallas Cowboys song in your heart, that's really what matters. Victory Polo Monday isn't a fashion statement. It's a lifestyle, and I hope that you've been enjoying yours because the Dallas Cowboys are 1-0. The Cowboys picking up a season-opening win against the team that is not or was not the New York Giants for the first time since 2009. That's really crazy. I'm going to say that again. The Cowboys won their season opener against a team that is not the New York Giants for the first time since 2009. So what that means is that since then, every season opener the Cowboys have won, and there are a lot of them, but they have only and exclusively been against the New York Giants. Most of them at home, some on the road, including last year's 40-0 domination. But it was a very fun game for the Cowboys, obviously, to get the win in Cleveland, where they did win their season opener, by the way, in 2008. So very, very close to kind of, adding Cleveland to that list. It was the Buccaneers in 2009, by the way, who the Cowboys beat in week 1. That was also on the road in Tampa. But it's the next day. It's Victory Polo Monday, and something I do now. This is a new thing that I'm doing. I'm doing some new things, new creative content ideas. At least I think they're creative, and I hope that you're enjoying them. And make sure to check out bloggingtheboys.com or follow me everywhere because I'm writing them as articles. I'm creating them as social posts. I'm talking to you about them here in videos. It's the best time of year, and I just want to get every single ounce of fun that I can out of it and share with all of you. Because it is the day after the Cowboys game, something I'll be doing is day after thoughts. You know how it is in life. Sometimes, you're weighing a big decision. You don't know what you should do. And somebody says, well, sleep on it, right? Sleep on it because you just simply do not know. Let me close this so it's not distracting me. You do not know what to do. You do not know how to feel. So they tell you sleep on it, let it marinate, let it chill. And I think that this exercise will be more helpful when we experience, because we will, moments of extreme and great frustration, moments of extreme and great annoyance with the Cowboys. There will be a time. I know that the vibes are great right now, but there will be a time where they do something that we have a big problem with, that we disagree with, that we scream about. And hopefully this exercise helps us kind of calm down and kind of see things through a different light. The initial emotions of the moment kind of fade. And I think that that's helpful in a positive sense, even in a positive sense when the game goes positively, right? We don't want to just live in on one side of the spectrum, all good or all bad. Thank you, Bear. He has a Dallas Cowboys tag on him, so he is celebrating Victory Polo Monday. But you want to stay grounded. You want to stay, kind of in the middle. You don't want to get too high and too low. And I think that, just kind of to set the stage for this, all the comments I've gotten on my material since the game ended was, well, the offense went to sleep in the second half. His Bears trying to get comfortable so he can go to sleep. And to that, I've been saying, well, dude, they had like an 81% win probability at halftime. There was no need for them to go crazy. And I said this in our postgame show, they cannot avenge the playoff loss. You and I, we share a deep insecurity about this team, and they cannot fix that in September. They can't even fix it in December. If the Cowboys go on this run, even if they go 17-0, there is some part of us that has been so damaged by this team that we cannot completely, totally exercise those demons until they win in the divisional round of the playoffs. So we can compartmentalize and contextualize all things in the right and proper way, which is what we're here to do. So last note before we get into it, I do write about this and create social content as well, but read my article about the subject at bloggingtheboys.com. Obviously the day after the game. So if you're watching this on Tuesday or whatever the case may be, just check out BTB and you might have to scroll a little bit, but it will be there. And as always, if you need a link to anything, hit me up. You know where to find me on social media. So let's take a look. This is my article that you can see at bloggingtheboys.com. And I've showed you this before, and it's because it's just you and me here, and I love you very much. Bear is getting comfortable. I love you very much, dude, but you got to be a good boy. Anyway, this article actually isn't even out yet. So you're looking at it in draft form. This is how the sausage gets made at bloggingtheboys.com. Excuse me. You can see Cowboys versus Browns day after thoughts. Headline from me, Mike Zimmer, Eric Kendricks are welcome additions. Now, before I dive a little bit in, I need to say, and I've said it already, and I'm just being honest. That's why I'm saying it, because I think that honesty is important. I did not think highly of either of these things, of the Eric Kendricks signing, or really specifically, I did not think highly of the decision to hire Mike Zimmer. And if you've heard me, I've bagged on this because I've said, and I still maintain to a certain degree, that the Cowboys' process of this was incredibly broken. The only other candidates who the Cowboys reportedly interviewed for their vacant defensive coordinator position were Rex Ryan and Ron Rivera. This felt lazy. This felt like a convenient thing. It felt like somebody who they knew, a point of comfortability, whatever you want to call it. All of that could, might, may be true still, even now. And it can also be true that it was the right and proper and perfect decision for them. So I'm very, very, very stunned. Now, the Eric Kendricks thing, in case you recall, maybe you don't remember, I've learned that there are so many people who check out in the offseason. I didn't quite realize that. Sometimes you can kind of live in your own bubble, but there's a lot of people who say, you know what, it's the offseason. I'm putting the Cowboys to the side. I'm going to focus on this side or whatever. And they jump back in. And so if you don't know, if you didn't know, Eric Kendricks initially agreed to terms with the San Francisco 49ers during free agency this year. It wasn't, and that happened at like 6 in the morning, whatever day of the week it was. It was like a Thursday, I think. And at like 6 p.m. that evening, I think I was actually walking the dogs, get the alert that actually about face, he's going to sign with the Cowboys after all. So it was really, really, really weird how he decided to do that. And obviously, because he has the history with Mike Zimmer, their time together with the Minnesota Vikings, so on and so forth. So the fact that this kind of happened in this wild way really makes that he is this wonderful player so far for the Cowboys all the more amazing. So that's my first day after thought, is the Eric Kendricks signing may have been a much bigger deal than we, and I'm really calling myself out here, originally made it out to be. I spent a lot of time on Monday watching Eric Kendricks, what he did, how he played, and I think he owes a great debt of gratitude to Micah Parsons for obviously opening things up. In case you haven't seen my material on this, I think Eric Kendricks should win NFC Defensive Player of the Week. And to be clear, I'm recording this before Monday Night Football, so it's possible that Nick Bosa or Fred Warner does something stupid amazing and puts themselves in that conversation. But I think that Eric Kendricks has a legitimate argument here. He had 2 sacks and an interception. It is only the 3rd time in Dallas Cowboys franchise history that a player has done these things in a single game. First time in 37 years. And yeah, the interception was a tip ball that Micah Parsons got his hand on. The sacks were obviously partly because of Micah Parsons' presence and, domination. But I don't say any of that to take away from Eric Kendricks. In fact, I say this to prove this point. Eric Kendricks is somebody who is finally capable of taking advantage of the chaos and the damage that all the defensive talent around him can cause. DeMarcus Lawrence had a great game in this game, or a great game. He had a great performance in this game. He also had 2 sacks. It was the highest pressure rate that DeMarcus Lawrence has had in a single game in almost 4 full seasons. So Eric Kendricks is the perfect orchestrator here, right? It's a suit that is custom made for him, that fits him perfectly right. I mean, this defense needs to be controlled and operated by somebody who understands it intimately and who can properly take advantage, not just intellectually, but physically, of what they're capable of doing. And it seems like Eric Kendricks really is that person. So I was wrong. I'm dumb. I'm ugly. You were right. You're smart. You're beautiful, right? Like all these different things. So kudos to Eric Kendricks, who, again, really, really, really impressed me. So that is thought number 1. And to be clear, if Eric Kendricks does not light the world on fire on Sunday against New Orleans, it does not mean that it was a failure. Again, we want to stay status quo. We don't want to get too high. We don't want to get too low. We want to stay right in the middle where context is what matters the most. All right, so number 2 for me, I mentioned this. I mean, look, the Mike Zimmer thing, I'm really just stunned. I'm not like, and I'm actually you know what I'm the most stunned about? We're well past training camp at this point in time. We're just about at week 2. And all of the conversation has been how wonderful Mike Zimmer has been, how much the Cowboys players love him, and how, great of a rapport and great of a relationship they have. And why is this surprising? Why is this shocking? Why is this stunning? I don't know, because Mike Zimmer has a reputation for being kind of a hard ass and for not necessarily having the best relationship, in a fun way, with his players. And so I'm kind of shocked, right? This is a little bit different than I think we all sort of thought. And again, maybe that's just a matter of where Zimmer's at. Maybe that's a matter of where the Cowboys are at. Maybe, sometimes we all crave different types of leadership, right? We're in different positions or different jobs or different roles or different moments or different parenting or whatever, right? Where sometimes you want to be coached hard or coached in this world, obviously, right? Taught, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes you need that side, right? It just depends on where you're at. And it seems that maybe this Cowboys defense was at a place where it needed a firmer touch. And it seems that Zimmer maybe was at a place where he couldn't come in and be totally Thanos-like, and has softened, things to where everybody has this happy marriage working out. I really would not have predicted this. Again, and that's where the day after thoughts matter, people, because you get to think about this. You get to apply this context. You get to have some time to sleep on it, get a couple of meals in your belly, which is what I've done to this point in time. And I am very, very, very pleasantly surprised. So I'm happy to see that. Good for Mike Zimmer, good for the Cowboys. Number 3 for me is not so much about this game specifically, but it is piggybacking off of it. The Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb connection will define this team both now and long term. And I say next day, night's worth of rest, right? Today, at least the day I'm recording this, Monday, was the first day that we all woke up, thank God, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb both under long-term contracts with the Dallas Cowboys for the foreseeable future. Let's call it the next half decade, right? Because when we woke up on Sunday, we were still like, is this going to happen? I really don't know. And obviously it did. So this Monday, excuse me, I did hit the microphone. I'm sorry if that was a loud noise in your ear. But this was the first day, Monday, the first day of the new future, the first day of the commitment to this future. And relative to this game, CeeDee Lamb only, and I use that word very loosely, only had 5 receptions for 61 yards, and a majority of that came early in this game when it was still competitive and before it got out of hand. Dak Prescott was phenomenal in this game, relatively speaking, only, again, air quotes, threw for 179 yards. It's pretty rare for Dak to throw for, that few amount of yards and the Cowboys still win. In fact, the last time it happened was incidentally the season opener last year. So, kind of a similar game script, domination and then putting things on ice. But that being said, a pedestrian, again, air quotes, 5 receptions for 61 yards of a connection between Dak and CeeDee, but they were on fire early on. And this team, and I don't mean to sound dramatic here, but it's the truth, is going to go as far as this connection goes. The next half decade rides and rests on what flourishes between Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Is the defense super important? Absolutely. Is Micah Parsons a cornerstone of the franchise? Obviously. Are there other super important players who are going to be involved in whatever success this team does not have, like Trayvon Diggs, like Tyler Smith, like hopefully Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe and all these players and on and on and on? Obviously. But the Cowboys just committed almost $100 million annually to these 2 players. All right. And that's an important thing. Now, the salary cap isn't as, hard of a line in the sand as people make it out to be, but this is a significant investment, not just in literal resources, but in general resources, right? The offense flows through them. This remains, despite the fact that offense was weirdly down in week 1 to this point prior to Monday Night Football, an offensive game. So what this duo does together is going to ultimately be what the Dallas Cowboys do as a franchise. It's very, very, very possible, if not, I would argue likely, and I mentioned this in the video I did after the Dak extension, that when Dak Prescott's career is done, that he will own every single passing record in Dallas Cowboys franchise history. CeeDee has a chance to do that from a reception standpoint. They have a chance to do that from a partnership standpoint. Obviously, those things are cool, but not the ultimate goal. This is it. If the Dallas Cowboys want to win a Super Bowl in the next handful of years, it is going to be because this connection thrives and flourishes the way it did early on in this game. And I think, again, that's an important takeaway from the game specifically, but obviously from the totality of action that happened on Sunday, what with regards to the Dak extension, especially given the fact that the CeeDee Lamb extension happened, whatever it was, almost 2 weeks ago. So those are my 3 takeaways one day later. And again, this is an exercise that we'll be performing all season long. I would like to hear yours. Maybe you changed your mind. Maybe something was completely and totally reinforced in your mind that you thought during the game. The purpose of this is to establish some more conviction in our thoughts that, we have come to with the benefit of time. That's at least, how the idea works in my head. I do want to say one last thing on this Victory Polo Monday. One, again, wish you a very happy Victory Polo Monday. Have a very special, fun surprise dropping for you on Wednesday here on the channel. And it's so cool of a surprise that I'm not even going to wait to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. Got an interview with Julian Edelman. That's right. The great Julian Edelman, who's a Hall of Famer in my book. But Julian Edelman and I had a great conversation on Monday. We, of course, talked about the Cowboys, obviously talked about the Patriots, and talked about the super awesome partnership that he has with Jameson. So that will be dropping on the channel on Tuesday. We'll have some more fun stuff for you as the week rolls along. It's football season now. There's a game behind us. There are many in front of us. So looking forward to you checking out the Julian Edelman interview. It's something that I think you will really enjoy. But for now, my friends, I'm going to bid you adieu. I'm going to hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, a rest of your Victory Polo Monday. And the Dallas Cowboys are 1-0. Everything feels good, everything feels right, and everything feels proper. Please, if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe here to the Blogging the Boys YouTube channel so we can hit 30,000 and then change that goal to 40,000 and beyond. My name is RJ Ochoa. You know where to find me all across social media. I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. Eat something amazing for dinner, breakfast, lunch, whatever the case may be. Yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. See you next time.